This is dedicated to all my beautiful queens, all my beautiful ladies out there. She's a queen. Go queen. You got it, girl. She's a queen. You better represent. Go queen. Go queen. Go. She's a queen about her business. Queen. Working hard on a mission. Yeah. Head high, purpose driven. Purpose driven. Crown will never tilted. Queen. Go queen. Go queen. Go queen. Go. Represent. You're a queen. You're a queen. Oh.
So thank you guys for joining another episode of the Key Chat podcast. So today I have a guest and I'm going to let her introduce herself. But first I want to start off with the name of her business. So she is the founder of Key Connect. So I'm going to go ahead and hand her the floor and I'm going to go ahead and let her introduce herself to everyone. So how are you doing today?
I'm doing well. My name is Kiwanda, also known as Key. Correct. I do have a business called the Key Connect and a brand conversation with Key. I'm a mother. I'm a published author. I'm a speaker. I'm also an organizer of networking events that get people together to have stimulating conversations.
Okay, so where are you located?
I'm currently located in Houston, Texas.
Okay, perfect. So let's dive in. So I know you wanted to discuss, your brand and you focus on making connections and networking and things like that. So how long have you been in business? I'll start with that first.
Well, I've been doing the networking and conversations with key events since 2015. And I will get people together and I will have networking events where I will facilitate stimulating conversations. And one of the things that I discovered from my events is that I noticed that people didn't know how to network or really knew how to connect with one another. And I was always passionate about connecting people to resources, opportunities, and one another. So I created the Key Connect brand to use things, opportunities, events, strategies, and different now my book to teach people how to connect to resources, opportunities, and one another.
Has COVID affect your business?
Well, I mean, it has because I have not been able to do my live events. So that's what, and also just being able to get in person with people and really teach people different strategies. So it definitely before virtual became such a big option and people became comfortable with it. COVID, because I actually had a networking and conversations with key events scheduled one of the weekends before COVID, the weekend of COVID hitting and the city shutting down. So I had to actually cancel my event. So yes, it did stop because I'm focusing on connecting, putting people in person. That face-to-face touch was a big thing that was affected by COVID. Yes.
How did you innovate yourself with COVID? Because I know like COVID definitely affected a lot of people, vendors, networking people like yourself that were accustomed to being in person, obviously. So I know like a lot of people are doing different things. Virtual has like become the new norm. So how did you innovate your business with COVID and networking? What virtual things that you come up with?
Well, one of the things that I innovated my business with is one, I created my book, which is this book that teaches people how to build profitable relationships. So that's one. Two, of course, I hosted some events virtual where I got people to connect and do some different things. And I got a lot. I still continue to connect. I still got in people's DMs. I still met a lot of people online. Still connected with a lot of people. So I wasn't necessarily doing the events, but I was doing a lot of the groundwork, putting my strategies and tips into place so I can put it because I released my book December of 2020, the year of COVID. So that, and then I've also have some things, I revamped my website. So I recreated that. I started, a YouTube channel where I'm up, giving people tips. So just being more accessible to people and giving people more tools so they can learn these tips and strategies that I use to help them connect.
So tell me more about your book. What's the name of it again?
The name of my book is called just put it up here. The name of my book is called Stop Networking and Start Networking, a 30-day guide to building profitable relationships. And this book is a book that's written as a 30-day guide. It gives you my key secrets, the things that I actually do to network, connect, and meet people to create profitable relationships that lead to what I call key connections. And what are key connections? Key connections are people who believe in you and who are willing to do everything they can to help you win. So in my book, each day it gives you very practical things that you could start doing right now to start connecting with people in an effort to build profitable relationships. Networking is big now and everybody is doing it, but really it's about networking. It's about building those relationships that become beneficial, that become assets in your life. So I take you from just giving someone a business card to taking you to what you can do in a very practical, easy, relatable way to build profitable relationships with people.
So I'm glad you mentioned, I know one of the things you mentioned are profitable relationships. So what is your definition of a profitable relationship?
A profitable Key's definition of a profitable relationship is a relationship where it's beneficial for both people, where both people are adding value to one another. That is my definition of a profitable relationship.
And that's a good point, because profitable could also mean different things in entrepreneurship. So that doesn't necessarily mean, connecting means, oh, we both gonna make a ton of money together, but it could still be, like you said, a key connection, something that'll still spotlight your talents, like you said, be beneficial. So what are some examples of profitable connections that you've encountered since you decided, to dive into networking?
Well, just to say this book, even though I'm an entrepreneur and a lot of people think of networking just in the mindset of business, this book is written for anyone because everyone needs to be networking and connecting and developing relationship with people. Some of the profitable, I have so many profitable relationships now, that I actually put the seeds out there to build. Um, but some of the profitable relationships, wow, I got to narrow it down to a couple of examples of them. Definitely, let's see. Okay, profitable. This is a lot of the people in my life, my friends, are profitable relationships for
Mm-hmm.
me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm at the place now, to be honest with you, where I don't even have to search for a lot of opportunities anymore. People simply call me to give me great opportunities. Like for instance, I ever have a friend that I met through an organization, and she is a very resourceful person. So every time opportunities come her way, she always think about me and she called me. Then I have profitable relationships that are very supportive. Like I had my birthday party last year, virtual, and I mean, a lot of people came and celebrated with me. A lot of people who weren't able to celebrate with me sent me gifts. Those are profitable relationships that I have. My name, let's say, this lady I know, I met her a couple of years ago, and we met through a women's organization, and she always thought about me, so she knew of a lady who hosts garage sales,
Mm-hmm.
and she knew that I had a lot of great skills, and I'm always doing different things. And she said, "Hey, Key, I have an opportunity for you." She said, Miss Ann is looking for someone to help her organize her garage sale, and I think you will be great for the position. So I wasn't even looking for an opportunity at that time. I never even thought about managing someone's garage sale. but she recommended me, and actually I did so well that the lady called me back and I did several for her. But that's just over time of me having a proper relationship with a friend of mine who thought of, hey, Key is someone great to come out and and do these different things. And one of the profitable relationships that I wrote about in my book is I went to a I was a part of a pitch competition, and one of the things that they provided to us was a breakfast, was a round table breakfast where we got to meet with a lot of very like professional people who have it going on in Houston. One of the ladies who was there, she was a director of a college, and when I saw her, I automatically said, wow, I would love to meet her because I think that my networking and conversations with Key then would be great at that college. So I was very intentional when they set us out and they released us to go be in different people's groups. So I got in her group. And I introduced myself and I made sure I was very savvy, made sure that I was very memorable. And I told her about my networking and conversations with Key event. And she said, conversations with Key? She said, I like that. And I said, yeah. And she said, I think that'll be great for you to bring into our college. I want to connect you to the guy over our career development department. I want to get you two together. So she gave me her email. I followed up with her. Sure enough, she got me in contact with that director, and he allowed me to propose and bring my event to their college. So that was, that's an example of a profitable relationship. She saw something in me, and she felt like I will be an addition and it could add value to their school. So she connected me to the director. And to be honest, I didn't know the director. I would have never had access to him. I mean, that was a gateway of what happens when you begin to connect with people and develop those relationships and you add value to people, or they see how you can add value to them, and they begin to be beneficial to you and start referring you out to others. So
Hmm. Now, with your book, how long did it take you to write it?
well, I started writing this book a while back, kind of started and stopped. But when I got serious about it, I would say that it took me about a month to get. Once I got
Okay. Okay.
serious about it, it took me about a month to really write it and complete it. Because this is a passion project for me. It's really my own experiences. Um, and it brought me joy to write this book. And even when I read my book, I be like, oh, I like this book. So
Hmm.
yeah.
So, what are some of the points? I know you said it's a 30-day guide. Can you share with us a few of the points? You don't have to give away the whole book, but can you give us some of the points that you have in there?
Sure. Definitely. One of my favorites is sow a seed, meet a need. That talks about how you have to add value to people's life. Um, it talks about show up as your authentic self. Always be who you are. Let people meet the real you. Let them connect to the real queen that you are. Be the honey in the room. I absolutely love it. Be that honey. Bring something where they're gonna attract you. And I ended talking about purpose.
Hmm.
How your purpose is the ultimate connector, how it's divine. We are from the divine, so we are from God. So purpose and connections all start right there. Like your purpose is the ultimate connector. So those are some of the topics that I kind of touch on in the book with some other stuff that I give examples, like I say, practical examples on how you can see what I'm saying works. So it's very relatable.
Have you ever encountered any challenges since you decided to go on this venture to inspire people and get them to learn how to connect and network and foster profitable relationships? Are there any type of challenges or setbacks you may have faced?
Well, for one, when I first started doing my networking and conversations with key events, I would run upon people would tell me, why would I want to pay to network? um running upon people who don't see the value in networking. You have a
Mhm.
lot of people who get it, but you have a lot of people who don't get it. They don't understand why connecting is so powerful. They don't understand what they don't understand how much they need to build profitable relationships. So just being able to relate to people that, hey, this is something, it's something you need. And then also with event, when you're putting on events, um I tell people, I commend people who put on events of excellence because I know what it takes to make it work. So just, I was new in that space, which I organized a lot of other events. I organized a lot of grassroots events, but then when I got into, organized events where I had to sell tickets, where I had to be at my events, where I had to set up, break down, be the host, be the person who out there connecting, putting together the swag bags. I'm talking about from literally I did A to Z, with my events. So just learning that space, and like I said, just making people understand the value, and just learning the different ropes of business. And also I'm a mother,
Mhm.
so trying to I'm a single mother, so trying to balance that out, because you have to be able to balance out being a mother and also pouring into your business as well as other things that you have in life. So just, just navigating all of that.
Right. How many kids do you have?
I have two kids.
Okay. How old are they?
I have a 14-year-old and a 3-year-old.
Okay. Okay. So do you work independently or do you also like hold down a 9 to 5, or are you solely an entrepreneur?
It depends on the seasons. There have been
Hmm.
seasons when I've been entrepreneurship 100%. Then there have been seasons when I did
Yeah.
contract work and ran a business. And there have been seasons when I did 9 to 5 and my business. But my ultimate passion and ultimate goal and commitment is gonna always be to keep connect. And that's gonna reign with me through, through all seasons.
That sounds like the life of a typical entrepreneur. Like sometimes we may have to grab a little, side hustle or whatever to supplement.
And that's okay. I
Yeah.
mean, Rome wasn't built in a day. Everybody,
Right.
it's nothing to be ashamed of.
Mm-mm.
Even some people who got it going on now, they had to step away. I
Oh
hear
yeah.
coaches and business and people tell stories all the time that they say, listen, I had to go get a job and come back to the business.
Hmm.
So that's typical.
Right. That's definitely typical life of an entrepreneur. So, what if you had to like give a message to any woman who may not necessarily see the value of networking, or they may be slightly confused and they want to say, well, how can networking work for me? What would you tell them if they tuned in and they needed, just some inspiration or just some clarity on how networking could benefit them?
Well, for number one, I think about it like this: networking, building profitable relationships that lead to key connections can make your life easier. The bottom line is you need people in every area of your life. It's divine, actually. I mean, it's divine for you to partner up with other people. Why are you spinning your wheels trying to make something happen for yourself so hard when you could connect with someone who can make it happen faster for you? Now you hear people say, "Well, get it out the mud," and I'm doing it all myself, and that's commendable. But why subject yourself to that when you could connect with other people who can make that so much easier? Just think about it. They have people, if we will be honest, they have people who've been trying to get things to flow and happen for them for years. And it literally took for them to meet one person to speed them 10 years ahead to make something happen for you. So really connecting is like oxygen. We need one another. You need that in your life. You function better when you connect with other people. But what I would say is make it a lifestyle. Make connecting with people a lifestyle and be passionate about it. Be passionate about connecting with, and do it with pure intentions. Don't go out there trying to connect with people to try to get something. Go and connect with people because you generally want to know them. And that's a secret about me. Connecting is not easy. We from New Orleans, so really that was our lifestyle, connecting.
Mhm.
So it really was birthed in us. But I generally like meeting people. I generally am interested in getting to know people. So it's nothing for me. It's not difficult. And I connect with people with pure intentions. And as a
Mhm.
result of me connecting with people with pure intentions, adding value to people, people want to be a blessing to me. So I would tell a woman it's to your benefit for you to start connecting with people. It's to your benefit for you to connect with people who can make your journey easier. It's
Mhm.
beneficial to you to start connecting with people that you can glean from, because if you will look at it, even if you're not religious, or just look at the Bible story with Ruth. God connected her to Naomi. And as a result of her connecting to this woman, Naomi, she was connected to some of her biggest blessings. She was able to glean, she was able to meet, as a result of Naomi being connected with this lady, giving her advice, being connected to, her Boaz, as we love to say, was all she got. Was she literally went from the pit to the palace, was all as a result of being connected to this one lady. So why not position yourself to be blessed as a result of being connected to someone?
Now, I'm glad that you mentioned genuine connections because I found because I've tried to make myself extremely accessible on social media. I'm not a Facebooker, but on Instagram, which I do use as a networking tool. I mean, that's how we connected as well. And I'm glad you mentioned genuine connections because I've had instances where people have messaged me and it's like an interview, but not in a good way. Like, okay, how did you do this? How did you do that? And I'm like an open person, so I'll share it. And then it's like, poof, vanished. They've disappeared. And it's like, it leaves you with a feeling like, wow, I just don't think that's really professional, actually. And I've gotten that a lot, to the point where I'm like, let me use my discernment more and figure out, like you said, who is trying to have a genuine connection, partner up. And partner up doesn't even necessarily mean, oh, we're going to work together. But like you said, partner up could also mean let's be a part of this sisterhood and network, where we formulate things, and if you have something, I support it and vice versa. But I just feel like, like you mentioned, connections have to be genuine. And I won't even use the term connection. If you just reach out to someone to steal some information and disappear, that's not even a connection. And it also breaks down that person's view of you in the future. Like people that have done that to me, I don't really, think of them on the same accord as people who I've met on IG or whatever, who have actually, I can inbox people when I need to and vice versa. I feel like there's a true, like you said, genuine connection, support, people that are really rooting for one another, as opposed to, well, let me just grab some information and go. I just feel like there's a right and a wrong way
Oh
to
yeah,
approach
it
people.
is. It is,
Mm-hmm.
and that's some of the things I talk about in the book. Because one of the things when I talked about, I said, show up as your authentic self.
Mm-hmm.
I talk about on that day is how people don't want to know you; they want to know what you do. And
Yeah.
I talked about how people introduce themselves to me all the time. Was like, hey, what do you do? They didn't even ask me my name. They would to literally meet me and say, I'm a lawyer, and what do you do? They didn't say who you are, what you're about. And even with the DM. See, one thing about me, and I'm sure this happens for you, once with these social media networks that I found from my experience, once people begin to feel like you have some sort of an influence, they start getting in your DM. Now,
Mm-hmm.
I have people get in my DM all the time, as a lot of people, professional people, trying to sell me services. And I always hit them with, okay, this is what I'm doing, but who are you? And I tell them, tell me who you are. I don't want to hear about your business. Let me know who you are, because this is the thing. You're not going to always connect with people on a business level. You can
Right.
connect with somebody for anything, or you may connect with somebody for business, but you may not be able to do business with them for another 5 years.
Right.
So get to know me. Let me know who you are. And I ask them, I like, tell me about who you are. So if they people and I can show, I have witnesses to my DM. I even was communicating with you. You know what I'm saying? And it's just like, tell me who you are. Yes, I know you're a business owner. Yes, I know you're entrepreneur. Yes, I know you want me to post your flyer, but get to know me and let me get to know you. Don't limit our
Right.
connection. Don't
Right.
limit my connection to just me being your client.
Mm-hmm.
Let me get to know you. We don't know how we may benefit one another. It's not just about business. We can
Right.
be, I can be the person who see you out in the street and you're broke down. I may be the very person to help you, but if you just limit it to a business conversation, if I don't hear, if I don't buy your ticket, if I don't purchase your book, if I don't say repost your flyer, you're writing me off, but you never got a chance to know me, and I never got a chance to know you. And that's when
Right.
it's not genuine, because you're coming, get to know who that person is.
Mm-hmm.
Get
Right.
and let that person get to know who you are, and then go from there. And that's why with people, that's why I tell you, I'm generally interested in the person. Like, who
Mm-hmm.
are you? What are you about? Yes, I know you're running this organization, but who are you after that? Like,
Mm-hmm.
let's chit chat. Let's communicate. Let's get to know each other, and let the
Right.
business flow as it's gonna flow. But I find that a lot of people are not on that level. They just want
Mm-hmm.
to see what they can get from you, and they miss it a lot. And that's why
Right.
I have tend to. That's why I have been so successful, and people call me and stuff with opportunities, stuff that I'm not looking for, because I show people that I'm interested in them, and
Mm-hmm.
people eat that up on me
Right.
because I truly am interested in them. So I understand, exactly where you're coming from.
I think the main thing, there's 2 points from that. The main thing to when you approach people, try and have a grasp on what type of impression do you want to leave with the person. Same thing. Like I've had a lot of people, I've never visually seen any support from them that have this either just blatantly inbox me and ask for information, or ask me, like you said, hey, can you post this? And it's like, who are you? It's like, because I work hard on my platform and I don't even know who you are. Like you said, it's not even, well, let me introduce myself. There's a right and a wrong way. Definitely, you don't want to have that used carsman salesy approach when you meet people, because let's say, like you said, that person who you inbox, obviously you've notated something to inbox them. There's something you must like about them, but there's a right and a wrong way to do it, because you don't want to turn that person off to the point where they're like, yeah, I'm not feeling this person. And then this person who you've turned off, like you said, may have particular connections or network and audiences that could possibly benefit you. But now you've lost that opportunity because of the way you've approached them. So I just think people should be mindful just on the difference in actual doing correct networking and connecting, as opposed to just like inbox hopping to get information. You know what I'm saying? Because people that have worked hard and built a particular brand, they put a lot of thought and work into it. So sometimes it's really not a situation where you really should just hop and ask them, hey, tell me everything that you did so I can do it. It's just like, that's just not how it goes, because people work extremely hard. And sometimes I feel like some people, they don't want to put in the work too. Like there's a lot of things that I've done that people will ask me, well, how did you do it? But the key part that some of them don't understand is I didn't have that go-to person. A lot of it was a lot of elbow work, rolling up my sleeves and figuring it out on my own. I'm not saying that's the route that everyone should take, but on the flip side, it's not, you can't expect people to give you like, hey, this is how you do things and you're just going to have it overnight. That's not how it works. And I think sometimes people don't understand that. And then there's a lack of professionalism. One thing I've come across too, like I do certain things on a professional standard. Like I have my previous work history that someone asked me the other day, well, did you major in business? And I was like, no, but they picked up on certain things and how I operate currently now as an entrepreneur. And I was like, no, I never majored in business. I actually majored in English, but things that I picked up when I was on a 9 to 5, it does incorporate, so sometimes you can incorporate people who you'll connect with people. And I don't like to use the term connection unless it's like, your encounter, I'll use that word. People who can't really comprehend things on a professional level. And once again, they've just lost a potential connection that could, like you said, be a profitable relationship. So I think that's how sometimes the mark gets missed when, like you said, people don't understand the value in a profitable relationship or the value in networking correctly. Because I think there is a correct way and an incorrect way to network, for sure.
Oh yeah, of course. And then people don't, and see, this is the thing. That's why I say profitable relationships, because people don't want to put in the work to get those benefits of a profitable. Keep in mind, I keep saying I'm a profitable. Keep in mind, I keep saying I'm interested in a person, and that's why I have gotten the benefits of profitable relationships. That's why I have so many key connections, people who believe in me and are willing to do whatever it takes to make me win, because I have put in the work of developing a relationship with them. And that's where people miss it. And that's where it's becomes unprofessional, because you want someone to pour into you and you have not even put in the work to get to know that person. And it's insulting because people do it to me all the time. I promise you, people. And there are some people that I know who I have come across maybe once or twice in person, and they think it's cool to send me something in my DM. Nah, I'm not, don't get me wrong. I'm all about helping people. But it's like you do see and you do recognize that, hey, you're not in communication with me. You don't support anything that I do. Why are you constantly in my DM? Even after I have helped you before, you're still in my DM and you're not pouring anything into me. Not that I'm looking, because I know my resources and help come from above. But still, you recognize those things, and that's the unprofessional. That's the connecting with people with the selfish motive.
Yeah.
You're not connecting with people to add value to them. You're not connecting with people to develop a general interest in them. And that's why so many people are turned off. That's why because people pick up on it's not sincere, it's not genuine. But I also want to touch on this. Don't limit. This is something, because I've met people in person. Let's say I met someone at a networking event, a young lady, and I really got a good impression from her. Now, I really wanted to develop a relationship with her because I saw some things that she was doing that I could add value in. She was limiting me to a Instagram relationship. So, you cannot get the full picture of who someone is from these social media networks. You don't know. People put what they want to put out there. You have to connect with people outside of these networks. If that means getting on a phone, that means virtual, that means in person. You have to take connecting to the next level. She proceeded to view me from Instagram when I was trying to develop a relationship with her. So she posted something on Instagram and I commented, and I guess it offended her, and I guess she took it the wrong way. And I tried to reach out to her and I tried to say, listen, I don't know what you took it as. You must read that that's not who I am. But you people are so They want to connect with who they see on Instagram. They don't want to do the work of trying to take it to the next step and actually communicate with someone. So I would say that don't limit a connection to Instagram. If you're
Mhm.
meeting somebody through Instagram, Facebook, or YouTube, TikTok, or wherever you're meeting these people on some kind of social platform, take it to the next level and get a human interaction with them. Hear their voice, see their face. Don't leave it there. Don't assume you know who the person is based on what you see on social media.
Right. And I think too, on the flip side, it's important to use your discernment too. Because
Of
sometimes
course.
on the flip side, somebody may be pressuring you to like take their initial contact outside of IG, and
Oh
that
yeah,
doesn't work all the time either. Because I've
that's
definitely been through
true.
that. And like you said, it is an insult because I've definitely had like some highs and lows, and I've definitely encountered some strange things, since building this brand. And like you said, I try to be as transparent as possible. The flip side with me is if you just looking at IG, but you haven't listened to the podcast, boom, I know you're already unsupported because a picture is only so much, Now, if you listen to the podcast, I'm extremely transparent about stuff. On the flip side, like I said, I've had people reach out and I know they've listened to the podcast, but like you said, it's more of a, oh, well, tell me how you did this. So, give me X, A through Z information on how you did all this so they can absorb it and you never hear from them again. I've had people reach out to me, ask me stuff. I didn't even know they were following me. That's how much like I didn't even know what the heck is going on. And don't shout you out afterwards. Shout out other businesses, like, but you just asked me, all this information. So, I think like I said, when you have the mind frame of professionalism and positive connections, and like you said, you hit the nail on the head with profitable relationships is always a positive thing. So, like I said, and I do feel like there's a lot of divine connections,
Oh
and people are on the
yeah.
same wavelength. That's why, I think when you're on a particular level, even those, examples that we just mentioned, when it may not necessarily be, like you said, it's not a real sincere thing, it kind of still, it rolls off your back like water because that's part of the territory, because the valuable relationships are so much more meaningful, and I definitely could say I've definitely developed profitable relationships. I've met people who, social media is a good and a bad thing, but social media really is a good networking tool, depending on how you approach it. If you do approach it the correct way, you can make some amazing connections,
Oh
for
yeah.
sure. And those profitable relationships, like I said, are invaluable. So before we end everything, and this has been a great conversation, and I love talking to entrepreneurs and connecting with people. And this was very valuable as far as the conversation too, because like an entrepreneur may listen and they need to hear this on networking and developing positive relationships. But before we end everything, I'm going to end it with the way I end every single episode, which is asking my guests, how do you define a queen? So I do need to pose that question to you. So Ms. Key, how do you define a queen?
I define a queen as a divine, beautiful, intelligent, abundant, blessed, blessed woman.
Awesome. Thank you so much for this conversation. But before we end everything, go ahead and let everyone know how they can contact you and how they can purchase your book.
Okay. Well, you can follow me on YouTube and Instagram at Key Connect. That's KeeKonnect. You can follow my brand, Conversations with Key, where I have conversations that matter at Conversations with Key on Instagram and Facebook. My website is www.keyconnect.com. And I do have a podcast, which is Conversations with Key. You could catch a couple of episodes on Spotify. It's on Spotify. It's on Apple. It's on Anchor. And a couple of other networks. So definitely connect with me. Definitely reach out to me. And of course, my book, it's on my website. It's Stop Networking and Start Networking, a 30-day guide to building profitable relationships. So definitely connect with me. Get in my DM, talk to me. I want to know who you are. So those are the best ways to find me.
Awesome. Thank you again. And for everyone that's tuned in, I hope you guys can pick up these gems that she dropped just about profitable relationships. So just keep in mind when you're meeting people, try and connect with them. Don't, try and figure out a way where you can make a genuine profitable connection. And profits don't necessarily mean monetary, which we both discussed. Profitable means that person that, you're trying to slide into that DM could be the bridge to your next blessing. Like, you never know what branch that person may hold or what seed that person can plant too. So just be mindful in how we approach one another, and be mindful on how to build valuable relationships with people, because that dream that you're building on, it takes a village sometimes. So you never know with that person who, you may admire, you may want to get some information from, just to gather some encouragement possibly. But just be mindful on making sure you make a profitable connection with that person, a lasting impression, as opposed to just a one-stop connection. You don't want that. So just make sure you keep in mind how to make a profitable connection.
I
so
just
thank
wanted
you guys
to say,
again. Okay.
I just wanted to leave, just say one more thing. Also always go with the intention of giving. Always go with the intention of adding value. Never seek out a connection looking to take. Always seek out a connection looking to give.
Right, definitely add value. Just make sure whatever connection you're trying to make, that you are going to foster some value for both parties and not just yourself. So